There's a brown bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet right now that pest control companies would rather you forget about. It costs about $1. It's already in most American homes, and it can wipe out some of the peskiest bugs on the planet. No exterminator required. I'm talking about plain hydrogen peroxide. Grab your bottle, because these 9 tricks could save you hundreds. Let's dive in. Before we get into it, here's the one thing you need to know. When we say hydrogen peroxide, we mean the standard 3% solution. The exact brown bottle you'll find at any drugstore for a couple of bucks. That's the concentration you want for every single trick in this video. Chemically, it's just water with 1 extra oxygen atom bolted on. Water is H2O, hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, and that 1 extra oxygen atom is the entire secret. When peroxide touches a soft-bodied bug, an egg, a larva, or a patch of fungus, that extra oxygen breaks loose and oxidizes it, essentially burning it up on a microscopic level. Then the whole thing fizzes down into nothing but water and oxygen, leaving no toxic residue behind. That clean breakdown is exactly why the EPA's Safer Choice program recognizes hydrogen peroxide as an approved active ingredient for safer pest control. Think about what that means for a second. The bug sprays under most people's sinks leave behind residues you'd rather not have near your food, your kids, or your pets. Hydrogen peroxide does its job and then vanishes into water and oxygen, the 2 most harmless things on Earth. It's cheap, it's effective, it's already in your house, and it's hiding in plain sight. So let's put it to work. Number 1. Wipe out fungus gnats at the source. If you've ever owned a houseplant, you've probably met the fungus gnat. Those tiny black flies that swarm up out of the soil every time you walk past, hover around your face, and somehow multiply overnight. Most people spend weeks swatting at the adults and wondering why they never go away. Here's the secret the swatting crowd never figured out. The adults aren't the problem. The real infestation is happening underground, where the females are laying eggs in your moist potting soil and the larvae are feeding on your plant's roots. That's where hydrogen peroxide becomes a weapon. Mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water, and the next time the top inch of your soil dries out, water your plant with that solution instead of plain water. As it soaks into the dirt, it'll fizz on contact. That fizzing is the oxygen going to work, killing the eggs and larvae hiding in the soil almost instantly. In one watering, you've broken the entire breeding cycle. No more new gnats hatching to replace the ones you swat. And here's the bonus that makes this trick even better. That same burst of oxygen that kills the larvae also aerates your soil and feeds your plant's root system, promoting healthier growth. So you're not just killing bugs, you're actually doing your plant a favor. Repeat the treatment for your next few waterings to catch any stragglers, and your gnat problem disappears for good. It's the single most satisfying pest trick on this entire list, and it costs pennies. And think about the alternative. People spend real money on sticky traps, bug sprays, and fancy soil covers trying to solve a gnat problem from the top down when the whole war is really being won or lost down in the dirt. One diluted watering gets to the root of it, literally. That's the difference between chasing symptoms and killing the source. Number 2, blast spider mites off your houseplants. Spider mites are the pest you can barely see until the damage is already done. These things are so microscopic they look like tiny moving specks of dust, red, brown, or pale, clustered on the undersides of leaves. But don't let the size fool you. They live on the underside of your foliage, piercing the leaves and sucking out the sap until your once healthy plant turns speckled, yellow, and weak. By the time you notice the fine webbing they leave behind, there are usually thousands of them. Reach for the peroxide. Pour regular 3% hydrogen peroxide straight into a spray bottle, no dilution needed for this one, and spray your infested plant down thoroughly once a day for about a week. The critical part is aiming underneath the leaves and hitting the surface of the soil too, because that's where these mites love to hide. On contact, the peroxide oxidizes the adult mites and knocks the population down fast. You will see a noticeable difference almost immediately. Now here is the honest part, because this channel is about what actually works. Hydrogen peroxide is fantastic at killing the adult mites, but it will not destroy their eggs. So if you stop after one spray, a new generation can hatch and the whole nightmare starts over. That is why you follow up. After your week of peroxide treatments, hit the plant with a round of neem oil, which handles the eggs the peroxide missed. 1-2 punch, peroxide for the living mites, neem for the eggs. Do that, and you have saved a plant most people would have thrown in the trash. Number 3. Launch a two-front attack on aphids. Aphids are the freeloaders of the plant world. Tiny, soft-bodied, and impossibly common, they cluster on new shoots and the undersides of leaves, jab into the plant tissue, and drain the nutrients right out of it. Left alone, they stunt your plant's growth, and worse, they leave behind a sticky residue called honeydew that turns into black, sooty mold. Even worse than that, they breed fast, and they'll happily migrate over to every other plant in the room. Hydrogen peroxide shuts them down on two fronts. For the aphids, you can see, mix 3 parts water with 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle. Start by pinching off any leaves that are heavily damaged or absolutely crawling with them, then spray the rest of the plant, making sure to get underneath the leaves where the colonies gather. Because aphids are soft-bodied, that extra oxygen ruptures them on contact. And as an added bonus, the peroxide helps clean up that black sooty mold their honeydew leaves behind. But here's the part most people miss. Aphids don't just live on the leaves, some hide down in the soil. So take that same diluted mixture and use it to water the plant as well. That way you're killing the ones on the foliage and the ones burrowed in the dirt at the same time. A one-front attack lets them regroup. A two-front attack wipes them out. Just remember to stick with 3% peroxide so you don't scorch the plant you're trying to save. Number 4. Ambush thrips where they hide. Thrips might be the sneakiest pest on this whole list. They're these tiny, slender, flying insects that look like little dark flecks scattered across your plant's leaves, and they're so small, most people don't notice them until the infestation is severe. They feed on the sap in the foliage, starving your plant of the moisture and nutrients it needs, and they leave behind ugly patches of dead, silvery tissue and stunted, deformed growth. The reason thrips are so hard to beat is that spraying the leaves alone barely dents them, because the eggs are hiding somewhere you would never think to look. Thrips lay their eggs down in the soil, so if you only treat the plant above ground, you're leaving the entire next generation untouched, waiting to hatch. This is exactly why so many people fight thrips for months and never win. Here's how you actually break the cycle. Fill a spray bottle with a 50-50 mix of water and 3% hydrogen peroxide and soak it directly into the soil until the top inch is thoroughly saturated. That oxygen blast destroys the EGGS before they ever get a chance to hatch. Do this once a week until every last sign of thrips is gone. And to deal with the adults still flying around, take the plant outside and spray the foliage with a hose to physically knock them off the leaves. Attack the eggs in the soil, knock the adults off the leaves, and the thrips have nowhere left to run. Number 5. Kill an ant invasion and skip the $350 exterminator. This is the one that can put real money back in your pocket. Picture the classic scene. You walk into your kitchen and there's a long trail of ants marching across your countertop, single file, like they own the place. Most people panic, grab their phone, and call an exterminator. And here's what that phone call costs you. A one-time professional visit for ants typically runs anywhere from $300 to $550. And if the infestation is severe, or you've got carpenter or fire ants, it can climb well past $1,000. That's a lot of money for a problem you can often handle with a bottle that costs about $1. Hydrogen peroxide kills ants on contact. Grab your 3% peroxide, pour it into a spray bottle, and spray it directly onto any ants you see marching around your home. The oxidation does the killing, and then you simply wipe them away. Do that instead of dialing a pro, and you've just saved yourself somewhere in the neighborhood of $350. But there's a second, smarter reason this works so well, and it's the part most people don't understand. Ants don't wander randomly. They follow invisible scent trails that scout ants lay down to guide the rest of the colony to your food. When you spray and wipe down those trails with peroxide, you're not just killing the ants that are there, you're erasing the scent highway they've been using. Suddenly, the reinforcements have no map to follow, so you get a double effect. You eliminate the ants in front of you, and you disrupt the chemical trail, bringing more of them in. A $1 bottle doing a $300 job. That's why this one's number 5. Number 6, turn your counters into a no-fly zone. Flies are more than just annoying, they're genuinely gross. Fruit flies and house flies land on your garbage, your drains, and who knows what outside, then they land right on the surfaces where you prepare and eat your food, spreading bacteria everywhere they touch. And because house flies breed so fast, a handful hanging around your kitchen can become a full-blown infestation before you know it. The best move isn't just killing the flies you see, it's making your home a place they don't want to land in the first place. Hydrogen peroxide handles both jobs at once. Mix 1 part 3% peroxide with 2 parts water in a spray bottle and use it to wipe down the hard surfaces where flies love to land. Your dining table, your kitchen countertops, that spot by the fruit bowl. Here's the genius of it. The peroxide simultaneously disinfects the surface, wiping out the bacteria that flies left behind on their last visit, while also discouraging them from landing there again. So you're accomplishing 2 things with a single spray. You're deodorizing and sanitizing the exact surfaces where cleanliness matters most, the ones your food touches, and you're making those surfaces unappealing to the next fly that comes buzzing through. It's a spray and wipe habit that takes 10 seconds, costs almost nothing, and quietly keeps your kitchen a no-fly zone. For a room where you'd rather not spray harsh chemical pesticides all over the place, a simple peroxide and water mix is about as clean and family-friendly as pest control gets. And here's the kicker, you were probably going to wipe down those counters anyway. This just turns a chore you already do into a fly deterrent at the same time, with no extra effort and no mystery chemicals sitting on the surfaces where you make dinner. Number 7, break the mealybug life cycle for good. Ask anyone who's battled mealybugs, and they'll tell you these things are pure misery. They are those tiny, white, fuzzy little insects that look almost like specks of cotton stuck to your plant's stems and leaf joints. And like so many houseplant pests, they survive by sucking the sap right out of your plant, robbing it of the moisture and nutrients it needs to grow. The reason people find them so infuriating is that they seem impossible to kill. Some folks give up entirely and just throw the whole plant away rather than keep fighting. The trick is to stop chasing the fuzzy adults and go after the eggs instead. Make a soil soak using 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 4 parts water. And once the top few inches of soil have dried out, pour that mixture directly into the pot. As it works down through the dirt, it kills off the eggs before they ever get a chance to hatch, which means you are preventing entire future generations of mealybugs from ever setting up shop on your plant. Sticking with the 3% concentration keeps it strong enough to kill the eggs, but gentle enough that it will not damage your plant's roots. While that soil soak handles the next generation underground, you can tackle the adults you can see up top at the same time. Dip a cotton swab or cloth in a little rubbing alcohol and wipe the fuzzy white bugs right off the leaves and stems. Attack the eggs in the soil with peroxide, wipe out the adults with alcohol, and you finally break the cycle that has been keeping your mealybug problem alive. Number 8, reclaim your backyard from mosquitoes. There's nothing worse than finally getting a nice evening on the patio, only to spend the whole time slapping at your arms and legs because the mosquitoes have decided you're dinner. If you live anywhere near standing water, a pond, a lake, a creek, even a neighbor's neglected bird bath, you know exactly how quickly a backyard hangout can turn into a feeding frenzy. And nobody wants to douse their entire outdoor space in heavy chemical bug spray just to sit outside. Hydrogen peroxide gives you a lighter option for your hard surfaces. Fill a spray bottle with roughly 1/3 3% hydrogen peroxide and 2/3 water, and spray it onto the hard surfaces around your patio where mosquitoes tend to rest and linger. Think benches, tabletops, railings, and flooring. Using the 3% concentration matters here because a stronger solution could harm any nearby plants that catch the overspray. Now, a couple of honest warnings on this one, because I want you using it safely. This spray can be harmful to other wildlife and to your plants, so aim carefully and keep it on the hard surfaces you're targeting. And critically, if you have pets that roam the yard, skip this method entirely and go with a natural approach instead, like planting mosquito-repelling greenery, such as lemongrass or lemon thyme. Peroxide is a tool for wiping down surfaces, not a fog to blanket your whole yard. Pair it with the golden rule of mosquito control. Dump out any standing water where they breed, and you'll take back your evenings without carpet bombing your backyard in chemicals. Number 9. Rescue a plant that's rotting from disease. Here's a trick that has nothing to do with bugs and everything to do with saving plants you'd otherwise give up on. Fungal diseases like powdery mildew and downy mildew, that telltale white or grayish dusty coating that creeps across your leaves, can quietly destroy a plant. And below the surface, root rot caused by soggy soil and fungal pathogens is one of the most common plant killers there is. Most people see either of these and assume the plant is a goner. It usually isn't. For fungal diseases on the leaves, mix about 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into a quart of water. Pour it into a spray bottle and mist down the affected plant, including the undersides of the leaves, where the fungus loves to hide. Master gardeners recommend doing this in the early morning so the solution has time to dry before the afternoon heat kicks in, and repeating it every couple of days until the infection clears. The oxygen in the peroxide oxidizes the fungal spores, burning them off the plant. Just remember to spot test one leaf first and always keep it properly diluted, because too strong a mix can scorch the very plant you're trying to rescue. For root rot, the fix is a soil drench. Mix 1 part 3% peroxide with 3 parts water and pour it into the soil. It kills the pathogens driving the rot, and that signature burst of extra oxygen re-aerates waterlogged dirt and helps healthy new roots form. So the same cheap bottle that kills your bugs can also nurse a dying plant back to life, which is exactly the kind of thing a garden center hoping to sell you a replacement would rather you didn't know. Now, one last thing, because being straight with you matters more than hype. Hydrogen peroxide is a genuine workhorse, but it's not magic, and there are a few jobs it can't do. It works by oxidizing soft-bodied pests, which means it won't touch hard-shelled invaders. Despite what you'll see in random videos online, it is not a reliable weapon against cockroaches, beetles, or other armored bugs, whose tough outer shells block the oxidation from ever reaching the soft tissue underneath. It also won't drive off a rat or mouse problem, though it does make a solid disinfectant for cleaning up after rodents. And while it can kill bed bugs on contact, it can also bleach your sheets and mattress, so there are better tools for that fight. For those heavy hitters, calling a professional really is the smart move. But for the everyday bugs, gnats, mites, aphids, and garden diseases that plague most homes, that $1 brown bottle has you covered. Always use the 3% version, always dilute it for your plants, and always spot test first. And there you have it. 9 ways a $1 bottle can do the work of an expensive exterminator. Next time bugs invade your home or garden, reach for the brown bottle before you reach for your wallet. If this saved you some money, hit that like button and subscribe for more money-saving home tricks. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.